Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm not going to take all your time tonight. I do have a hard stop, but this topic came about because this is something I actually have to do next week at work. And might as well just kind of share with you what I'm doing and some of the things that happen. So when you work within the business and you're creating reports, we've said before that everybody should be creating a report that's very similar. And what I mean by that is everybody should be going by the company standards, the company style guide, the company template. So if you're on the team and you're creating reports, we should not be having anybody going rogue and creating different reports with their special coloring. They want hot pink because it's springtime, or, I thought it was yellow because I like yellow. No, we're not doing that. All right. This can also happen because within your team, you're creating reports, but other departments, it does happen a lot where they will go get their own reporting people, right? So you might be part of the BI team, but for whatever reason, marketing might say, well, why don't we just get us a BI developer? And sales, they'll be like, well, why don't we just get us a BI developer? All right. So regardless, everybody needs to be going by the same company standards, format, font, all that good stuff, right? So in the process of that, what we do at work is we create templates. With this template, we normally have, or let me say, we put a PBI starter pack. Pretty much any new hire that comes in, they'll get the template, they'll get the style guide, they'll get the company standards, all of that they'll have as soon as they get hired, and it's in a folder with a couple of videos, training videos for them to get up and going, right? So at some point, even if you just kind of started, you will probably be asked to train somebody, to guide somebody. Even if you're the newest person, they're going to be like, well, Joseph got hired a couple of months ago. Joseph, do you mind training Bonnie and getting her up to speed? And you're like, damn, bro, I just got here. You already got me doing extra stuff. Yeah, that's usually how it goes. So preferably you want that, make that process easy. You don't want to keep on saying the same thing over and over and over again. So remember, we're kind of in this automation thinking, right? So for me, it's a big deal to put processes in place, right? I just want to do it one time and then go sit it down over there and not have to worry about it again. So with all that being said, that's where I come to templates. This is PBI template. So think of a new hire that just got hired on, and now they're being asked to create reports. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. Well, there needs to be some type of baseline for them to start from. And this baseline should be some type of standard, some type of template, some type of guide. But if you're going to create a pie chart, it needs to have the company colors. If you're going to have slicers and filters, they need to be at the top to the right-hand side. If you're going to have the company logo, it needs to be in the left-hand corner. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up. Like, nobody's coming in, going rogue, and doing their own thing. The data is going to be different, but the formatting should be the same. We're all the same business. No report should be looking different from another, okay? So there may be a conversation between you and marketing. Normally, marketing has those company colors, the company logos. That's a resource for you to go to. A normal formatting is the color. All right. At least the top 5 colors we need to know. So when you create reports, do they have to all look the same color? No, you got about 5 or 6 choices to choose from. A way to do that is to create a theme. All right. So we're still talking about a template. And basically, this template is a guide that we can give a new hire. So when they do start creating their own reports, they start here and not down here. And in that template, we already have the company colors. We already got the font, logo, and any other type of information, right? So it literally is as simple as creating a PBIX file with dummy data. However, with a template, that's a little bit different because the template is just a shell. It's just a shell. You're not importing anything, but it has all the formatting that you need. And then when you do pass it along, they have to log into the server and to the database. All right. So I'm going to start with some of the standards first about, creating a template, what it should look like. And then I'm going to go into putting parameters on the template and then actually creating the template. All right. So if you are creating some type of style guide, template, playbook for people to start using and creating reports, one thing you need to look at is the company colors. I mentioned before, you need to go get that from the marketing team. But notice here, I'm going to go to view, and I'm going to go to themes. All right. Now you can create your own theme. And what this means is when you create a pie chart, you know how when you create a pie chart, default colors just appear? Well, when you add theme, that pie chart will only have your company's colors. All right. Certain visuals, any visuals that pop up, they'll already be defaulted to the company's colors. All right. So I'm going to say customize current theme. I'm going to show you a couple of things. I'm not going to go to heavily into this. I got a couple of links and some YouTube videos for you, but just in case you didn't know, I'm going to show you real quick. But this allows us to set the color so that whenever we create a pie chart, bar chart, etc., that defaults to the company colors. Why is this not showing? Let me try that again. Well, it's showing up, but it's not showing up. Where's it at? There we go. Sorry. All right. So I on customize theme, and notice these colors. These are the main colors that will pop up if I create a visual. So think of your bar charts. Think of your bar charts. Think of your line graphs. Think of your pie charts. As soon as you create one, these will have the default colors. The default colors. And you can actually go to the text. So when you speak to the marketing team, you can go get the color, you can go get the font. Here, when you start to create titles, any type of text, any types of headers, that will be defaulted to the company font. You can take this a little bit further if you want to, and then we're talking about the background color, border, header, tooltip. So this is the theme that you can set on a report. And when you create a visual, it will default to the company colors. All right. So there no more is there hey, what's the colors we're supposed to use again? Can you tell me, send in the email or ping me or whatever? No, as soon as you grab the template, whatever visual you create is going to default to those company colors. If I go to my pie chart, this is what I'm talking about. You see that? It defaults to the company colors. So we don't mess that part up. All right. And how did I do that again? I just went to themes. Click to customize current theme. So that's setting up the template. All right. That's part of it. We want to get the company colors right. We want to get the font correct. All right. And then also this company logo. Now, company logos, the reason why I have to go back and update my template is because we just updated our company logo. So that may be a discussion that you might want to have with your team, because yes, you can import this as an image and copy and paste. But think about when you have 50 reports out there in production. And oh, by the way, the company has a logo change. Yes, that means if you imported that and copied and pasted, you have to go back to every single one of those reports and copy and paste again. For that, we're not doing that. Oh, hell no. All right. They try to get us to do that. So our approach was to make this dynamic. And what I mean by that is we put this image in a SharePoint in a folder, and then created a table in SQL and put that link to the image in SharePoint, put that link in SQL and brought it in as a table. And then brought that image in. So if they change the image again, all we need to do is just update that folder. All right. But that is a conversation you might want to have. Regardless, we need to decide where we're going to put our company logo. Is it to the left or the right? Whatever it is, needs to be in the same place. Preferably a title. And then obviously here, this is a little tooltip for extra information. We should not have a report out there where you don't know what you're looking at. Even if you're brand new, you should be able to hover over this and be like, oh, okay, now I see what I'm looking at. So these are just some of the foundations of creating a standard, a template, a style guide. All right. Notice my slicers. This should already be preset. All this should already be preset. With the background color, with the font. Notice my table down here. Each table and visual has a title and a background. So the goal is, when I pass this to somebody else, all they need to do is just switch the underlining data. And if they want to change some visuals, it's not a big deal. However, each visual will have a title with a background, regardless if it's a visual or a table, and it will have the company colors. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up. All right, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and create this template. To create a template is not necessarily, it's probably like 2 or 3 clicks. All right, it's not anything crazy, but we're going to put parameters on this template so that when the person opens this template, they are asked to choose a server name and asked to choose a database name, so that our template is dynamic. If you want to look at the dev data, here it is. Here's where you start. Oh, if you want to look at QA, you want to look at prod for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. This is the foundation. You still have all your visuals in place. You just switch to underlining data, all right? So I'm going to go to transform data. I'm gonna go to data source settings. Not that one, transform data, sorry. So this is gonna open up the query editor. There's additional videos about parameters. I'm just going to show you some quick ones real quick. What I'm talking about now, there is a video for it. It's Guy in the Cube. I have that link for you. So I'm just going to kind of walk through this, but I'm going to go to manage parameters. And I'm going to say new parameter. And I'm going to name this one server name. I'm going to say, please choose the correct server name. So what's going to happen is, as soon as they open up this template, they're going to be prompted to choose the correct server name, choose the correct database name. The template itself does not have any data in it. A PBIX file, you import data into the PBIX file. So when you open up the PBIX files, there's data in there. A template is just a shell, all right? So I'm going to go to suggested values. Well, let me step through this. Notice this type. You can choose any type here, text, decimal, datetime. Suggested values, I'm going to say list of values. These are going to be the values that the developer can choose from as far as the server name. All right. So let me go grab a server name real quick. All right. So imagine me creating a server. So we're just going to say this one is dev. And we'll say this one is QA. And we want to say, let's just say this one is prod. All right, so the default value, we're going to say dev. And the current value, we're going to say is dev. And then I'm going to create a new parameter, and we're going to name that database name. So again, what's happening here is we're going to create a template. This is a starting point for any developer to start creating their reports so that everybody's reports look the same. When we put these parameters on the template, they're going to be able to open it up and then choose, okay, which one is the correct server name I should be using? Which one is the correct database I should be using? And then the template's going to open up and all the stuff that we've created will be sitting there. So let me say database name. Please choose a database. Say list of values. And let's go grab AdventureWorks. Yeah, I could have spelled it, but my spelling is bad. Yeah, I already know that. I don't even play. All right. So imagine I have different versions of AdventureWorks. Let's say we got 12 here. And then let's say we got, I don't know, 2008. And the default is 2014. All right, I'm gonna click OK. Notice on the left-hand side, Now I have parameters. And this is the drop down that the end user will see, or let me say the developer will see. It will default to dev, but they do have the option to change it to QA or prod. Look at the database name. It's going to default to 2014, but they have the option to choose 12 or 8. All right. So I'm going to close this out, close and apply. That part is setting up the parameters. Now I'm going to create the template. Apply changes. Oh, it's still thinking. All right, there we go. All right, so now I'm actually going to create the template. How do we create the actual template? It's just a couple of clicks. All right, there we go. We're going to go to File. We're going to say Export Pbi Template. This is going to create a PBIT file, not a PBIX. There's a difference. Colaberry template, that's fine. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to say Colaberry HR template. Notice this is what I was talking about. Look, it will be saved as a PBIT file, Power BI template file. It's not going to be saved as a PBIX, IX. The template is just a shell. There's no data in it. So I'm going to name it Colaberry HR template. Hit save. All right. And I'm going to close this out. All right. So here's the scenario. You're at work. They just hired somebody. You probably just started probably about a month ago. And they hire somebody. And they're like, hey, Joseph, you know, we just hired somebody. Do you mind just kind of showing them the ropes, showing them where to go? Now, do I want to sit down personally and talk to this person? Probably not. Like, I got other stuff to do. So preferably, I would like to pass this person some documentation, a template to start from. And then if you have questions, then I can kind of help you out from there. But I'm not going to about to sit there and have a full training session because you're brand new. All right. So this is me giving a template to that end user, to that developer. I'm the developer. I just got this PBIT file. And pretty much I would have a documentation with this, but I am illustrating, hey, you're going to be creating reports. We all have company standards and styles and guidelines that we go through. I'm going to give you a template. This is just a standard and a guideline for you to start from. You can change the underlining data to whatever you need to, but notice the slicers, where they're placed at. Notice the bar charts, etc., where they're placed at. Those types of things need to remain the same. All right. Now, if they want to get, you know, a little different, yes, they can do all that by using the company colors. But it's not like you just go rogue and start doing whatever you want to do. Notice here, when they open up the PBIX file or PBIT, the template, notice they are prompted already to choose a server name and a database name. This is what I was talking about before. So right now, there's no data in this file. First, they have to choose the appropriate server name. They can choose dev, QA, or prod. And then they have to choose the appropriate database. Which database is it? This is what I was talking about. So before they do anything, they have to choose the server name. They have to choose the database name. I'm going to hit load. And now it's going to start going to go grab that data. Before it was just a shell. Now it's going to go actually go get that data. You see that? Human resources employee. So when you hand off this template to a developer, all they need to do is choose the correct server name, choose the correct database name, and then all the visuals are already in place. The slicers, the font, the color, all that stuff is there. All they need to do is just switch the underlining data. Now, can they move stuff around? Yes, it's not a big deal, but some of the concrete stuff like the tables, the slicers, the company logo, the way it looks, that needs to stay the same, all right?
Nate,
Hey, what's up?
what about if we have different data source instead of SQL Server?
Yes, you can still create the template. It's just, what are you connecting to?
Okay.
So as an example, for me at work, we have analysis services, all right?
Mm-hmm.
With analysis services, you have to log in regardless. Like you don't have import with analysis services. It's only live connection or direct query.
Yeah.
So you have to log in regardless, but it's still a shell, right? What we're concerned about is just giving the person a starting point for them to start creating reports. But you changing the underlying data, you can still do that. That's not a big deal.
Okay, thank you.
This is kind of moving slow. So for me at work, all our reports have a summary page and a detail page. That's just our standards. So the detail page, all that is a flat table. You see this? It's just a flat table with some slicers. That's the detail page. That's on every report. No matter what report we create, that's the standard. We have a detail page. That's a flat table with some slicers. And then the summary page is the exact same information. It's just aggregated. So notice these columns here. And then we're just aggregating the number of employees. So this is a visual, that's a visual, this is a visual, this is a visual, aggregated by the number of employees. So when we go to the summary page, this is what I'm talking about. Number of employees by country, number of employees by city, number of employees by state. And then from here, you can right click and drill through to the detail page. Right click, drill through to the detail page. So that's our standard off the top. Recently, what we had to do was change our company logo. And that's why I have to go back and update our templates, because we changed the company logo. We don't have it imported anymore. That is coming from a table, so that that logo is dynamic. All right. Questions, comments, discerns. Does that kind of make sense of what I'm talking about?
Yes.
All right. Awesome. So I mentioned before that I did have a couple of links and some videos. The ones that I was able to find, there's a guy in the cube for parameters and templates. The example that I just walked through, there's a guy in the cube video for that. There's a video for templates. Parameters, that is kind of a larger topic, because notice how I put parameters on the data set. Well, you can also put parameters on your data as well. Like if I wanted to put parameters so that if somebody logs in, they are prompted to do city, choose a city. They are prompted to choose a job title. You can put parameters on your reports. There's a video for that, and that is a larger topic. And then report themes. What I was just showing you a minute ago, that can easily be a larger topic as well. You can kind of do it manually, and that's by changing the color. But you can also have a JSON file that you can just simply grab, and then it'll just import the colors that way as well. All right. But to create a template is not necessarily challenging. Matter of fact, I showed you before, it's like a couple of steps. The important part of this is making sure that you have all the company standards in place: logo, color, font, what this visual should look like, what that visual should look like. Put the server name, database name, all right? And just to show you one more time, how did I do that? To create the parameters, I went to transform data, and then data source settings. Transform data, sorry. Now, yes, you are correct. If you are in analysis services, you will not have this part. However, with analysis services, you are required to log in anyway. So I came to manage parameters, and I clicked on new parameter. Now, let me show you how I did the first one. That's edit. I'll create another one. New parameter. You can put the name, the description, the type. Again, you can use decimal, date, time, text, etc. But this, I would not make it challenging. Like, you're just giving this to somebody so they can start doing their work. You don't want to confuse them more, frustrate them more, etc. Right? This should be a kind of an easy process, right? Yes. Yeah, if somebody is trying to get in, just ping me, guys. Yeah, my screens are kind of backwards, but yeah, I just let people in. All right. So you have the type, and then you have suggested values. What I chose was list of values. All right. List of values. You can do query. You can do any value. But let me show you here for my database. I did list of values, and then these are the different databases. I just literally copied and pasted these, and then imagine this is, you know, dev database, QA database, prod database, and then you have your default value and your current value. Same thing with the server name. Imagine this is dev, QA, and prod. All I did was just add those values. Click close and apply. And to create the actual template, sorry, All I did was go to File, Export, and then Power BI Template. Power BI Template. Again, it's just a shell. It's just a starting point for people to start from. You're not actually giving them data per se, like a PBIX file. And it is somewhat dynamic. You can do a server name, you can do a database name, you can actually take it further than that, but this is just starting out. All right. Questions, comments, concerns?
Next.
Hey, what's up?
So when you give them the PBIT file, and when they try to open it, it asks them the server name and database, right?
Yes.
So after they click it, it's coming as a full of data though, or only shell after they put the database and server.
Once they go grab the, once you enter the server name and then database name, it's gonna grab that data that was already there.
So basically,
now,
it gives them the same visualization.
Yes.
With the data.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So notice right now, this is a brand new PBIX file. Notice it's untitled.
Yeah.
So
okay.
after they enter the server name, after they choose the database, then Power BI grabs that data and imports it into the PBIX file. Then they have data, right?
All right. Then they have to save it. Yeah. Okay.
But even after that, you can still go grab data if you need to. So that's why I was saying this is just a shell. All right. They may not be using this specific data, which is fine. They can still go grab whatever they need. But when they create a report and they choose a pie chart, it's going to default to those colors. That's what we're talking about.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so that's all I got. Thanks.